Cern is a European organization for nuclear research where physicists and engineers are probing to discover the fundamental structures of the universe. Cern was established in the early 1950s and has made technological advancements since its inception. We can thank Cern for the internet and other groundbreaking discoveries of physics. However, is there more to Cern that is perhaps secret, hidden, or is there a motivation that isn't within the realms of science, but rather a religious one? The Cern logo appears to demonstrate the different colliders. However, one cannot help but to see the embedded 666 that are clearly visible. Some may claim this is confirmation bias or seeing what you want to see. However, the coincidences that are associated with the 666, logistics, and interesting details of this facility will quickly put into question the true meaning behind Cern's intention.
The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666.
Revelations 9:11 mentions Abaddon in the Hebrew meaning the destroyer, and Apollyon in the Greek also meaning the destroyer. Apollyon is one of the spellings of the Greek god Apollo. Interestingly enough, Cern has a statue of Shiva in front of their facilities. Shiva is the destroyer of evil and the transformer within the Trimuta, the Hindu trinity that includes Brahma and Vishnu. In Shaivism tradition, Shiva is the supreme being who creates, protects, and transforms the universe. Ironically enough, Cern is after the secrets of the universe, in a way destroying particles to discover the secrets of what holds the universe together in the inception of the universe. However, could they have some other alternative or underlying intentions that we are not fully aware of? And why the statue of Shiva in a scientific facility? Sergio Bertolucci, who is the director for research and scientific computing back in 2009 for Cern, said something very interesting. He stated, and I quote, "Out of this door might come something, or we might sense something through it."
Cern, Switzerland, and this tunnel are both doors to the underground, and they are portals. And this is what you need to keep in mind. A portal is something that allows a entrance or exit of a spirit. Now, a lot of people don't believe in things like that, but what did you just read in Revelation chapter number 9? The bottomless pit. The opening of the bottomless pit. And that is somewhere. No question about that. It's not just anywhere, but somewhere. Now, all over this world, there are places that are marked and set aside by the local culture as places that are definitely, I don't know, they may say superstitious or demonic or whatever the title they want to give it. Cern, Switzerland, and Gotthard Tunnel are portals to the underworld. Now, they just had a ceremony when they dedicated this tunnel, and it's one of the most remarkable things that you've ever seen. I would not recommend watching it. I watched about 5 minutes of it to do this morning, yesterday, for the simple fact that I wanted to get commentary on what I was looking at. It is one of the most demonic, satanic, openly satanic, openly demonic ceremonies that I have ever seen in my life. It is unbelievable at the in-your-face Satanism that's attached to this thing. The President of France, Chancellor of Germany, the President of Italy, and the President of Switzerland were all present when when they had this ceremony. That's the leadership of Europe. And they had nothing but glowing terms to say about what they were looking at. Now I'm going to go through some of the stuff that happened there in a general sense, but let me say this at the very beginning. A lot of this stuff that happened at this tunnel is open to interpretation. It's open to interpretation. In other words, they don't have a script going alongside of what's happening to explain it. You just see it, and then it's up to you to interpret it. Now let me tell you something about interpretation. When it comes to the occult world, they know what it means. An occultist may never have been to Switzerland, but if he or she were present at that, they would know exactly the message that's coming out in that thing, because they are part of the elite, the initiates. Now I want you to think about this for a minute. Here we have Cern, Switzerland, a picture or a statue to Shiva, the destroyer, who then restores. And we have this ceremony that's performed, that's the weirdest thing you ever saw in your life. You can pull it up on Google. That's associated with the reopening of Cern. It's occultic, satanic, no question about it whatsoever. And now here we have this tunnel that's opened up. Why would the elite, and this is who the movers and shakers are of this, why would the elite purposely pick the number 666, and why would they have a satanic ritual? No question about it. A satanic ritual that's associated with the opening up of a tunnel to the underworld, and the same thing happened at Cern. Do you know why? As I've said to you before, these people are very religious. This ceremony at Gotthard, it definitely has a goat prominent and in the middle of it, and takes charge of it. A goat man, goat-faced. It's got demons in it. It's got souls in it that are flying around in the air. It's got a procession where it's unbelievable at the kind of message they're getting. They carry a dead lamb, and they're mocking the Lamb of God. They're trying to say that the power that rises up out of the earth, this horned being, this green horned being, the Cernus, goat man you're talking about, happens to have a green face. You know, Cern. See, Cern is the short of Cernus. The green man, the goat man, the horned goat man, who is the god of the underworld. All right? Don't you think it's quite remarkable they call it Cern? I mean, there's millions of names they could have used for that. The reason they do is because they're identifying it with their god.
Could this image be showing a fallen spirit behind the veil God set to separate dimensions in the heavens? Or is this an example pareidolia, a psychological phenomenon in which the mind responds to a stimulus, usually an image or a sound, by perceiving a familiar pattern where none exists? Here's a clip from a Cern insider who shares the true motivation behind Cern's intentions. While I could not track who this person is or if he was a legitimate source, here's the audio and you can be the judge for yourself.
In your room, the Higgs field is in operation. Listen, with the Higgs field, they can begin to alter reality as we know it. Now, a lot of people they can't capture that right away. But you have to remember our world is made up of matter. The antimatter is what we can't see, what we can't touch, what we can't feel, though we interact with it every day. A lot of people like to think of antimatter as the other dimension, which is the opposite of this dimension. It's an inconceivable place that is hostile inherently. It's not under control. It's very hostile. This dimension would be the more tamed dimension. Here's what they've done since the 1930s. Well, actually, since the 1800s. There was a group that studied nothing but the phenomena of paranormal activity, not like you've seen on TV, not like you've seen in Hollywood, not like anyone knows about. But they studied the science behind paranormal activity and have then defined that this is called a dimensional slit, where things can obviously interact with this world all the time. And they were wondering the interactions between known matter and that type of matter. But they also found with antimatter, this antimatter can be absorbed by any realm of paranormal activity. It is, in effect, neutralized and absorbed. So there's a physical effect to the spiritual world in antimatter. And often, demonic entities and all these other paranormal things are attracted to antimatter. They're attracted to it. For every gram of antimatter that's produced, and then it's bought into this world, when they produce it, it attracts things from another dimension coming here. What is Cern going to do? Is to allow humanity to produce pounds of antimatter. What's happening, that is the unseen portion of dark matter. And of course you have the angels which govern what that realm can and cannot do. It's not it's a shame, and I have to continue to say this, it's a shame that the Christian community cannot believe the Bible when it's talking about things like that, because it's going to cause them to be harmed. What they fail to adopt from the Bible, what they fail to believe, is going to harm them. It's going to harm them. They may not be lost in their spirit, but they're certainly going to have lumps all over the place. It's going to harm them. And I hope people have a general understanding of matter, which we can touch and feel and observe, and antimatter, which we cannot touch, feel, or observe. However, it's working in tandem with the matter, because everything is balanced. The subject of Lucifer in the spiritual sense, because God gives everything balance. Everything has balance. There is dark, there's light, there's good, there's bad. Everything has balance. I mean, God could have not. Why did he put the serpent in the garden in the first place? For balance. God can't give us an honest choice unless we're faced with an equal balance of obedience and disobedience, good and evil. And so Lucifer is used to be that balance of darkness with the light that we're given. And the reason why I see people are going to be harmed when they don't believe these things is because if they do not believe in the spiritual realm of our Lord, well, then they're giving the spirits authority to work in their lives. Cern has yielded so many results and gave a true definition of paranormal activity. It's beyond me that a lot of people cannot get this through the truth of the word. They can't. Antimatter is being pulled out of nowhere, out of this other dimension, which is nowhere but everywhere. In consequence to that, they found out antimatter has a specific type of energy signature that they can, in fact, detect. This is how it's part of the process of pulling it out. Well, as it comes to find out, some of the not so good consequences of this process has to do with the human psyche. Stephen Hawking, he understands the implications of what could happen. He understands how it can affect the psyche. For a long time, Stephen Hawking did not believe there was a God. For a long time, he didn't. But you see, something is changing with him. He is beginning to see that everything is so precise, it's impossible for it to be happenstance. I mean, everything down to a trillionth of a trillionth of a trillionth of a trillionth of a meter is absolutely precise. And he's beginning to change his mind. It's what's happening to him. He's changing his mind. He is now beginning to entertain the idea that what people call divine is in fact done by some sort of architect they have no concept of. Now, with the general basis of what Cern is doing, that's the basic idea of what they're doing, and that's exactly what they're doing with particles. Here comes the other part that's not so good. This is why they have to do another set of it. Listen, it's not just one experiment they're about to perform. This thing is going to run 6 months continuously, colliding protons near the speed of light to analyze particles, exotic particles that are made at the beginning of the Big Bang. That's why they call it the Big Bang machine. It's the only way to observe these particles, which wink in and out of existence in, a fraction of time, a fraction of time. And the consequence of this search to gather more and more of this matter, by the way, they have a more efficient method of pulling out or gathering antimatter, which is why they need to know the properties of some more properties of this particle they have described. Once they have these properties, they will be able to extract as much antimatter as they desire efficiently. It's right now to obtain antimatter is very inefficient. It's very inefficient. In other words, to get a pound of it would take about 10,000 years at the current rate. It's just not going to work. Cern will allow them to do that probably within a week. But here's the consequence. They've observed the energy of both matter and antimatter. They found out that antimatter is intimately tied to every single life form on this planet. They found out that energy signature is the same energy signature in all life on this planet. All life, none excluded. Found out when any life form is in the presence of antimatter, the energy of the life form changes. The energy changes. I'll put this in basic terms. A person has both dark and light already in them. It's part of their makeup. It's what you can't live in a material world without antimatter. Nothing would exist. And so a person has both good energy, which would be this realm, this realm of matter, but they also have energy of antimatter. So they're connected. A person is connected to both realms at the same time on the energy level. And they don't even know it. They don't know it. And they have found, certainly, with all the experiments they have found out why paranormal activity exists. They know exactly what it is. They don't want to tell anybody. This is why they perpetuate foolishness on television. But every single person, every single life form is connected to that realm, that other realm, into this realm of reality all the time. Now, a person's thoughts, how a person feels, and doctors know about this too, how a person feels will determine which energy they draw from. You can draw from this realm, good realm, and you have positive results. That's called faith. That's why doctors believe in it. That's why they give out placebos. They know that if a person believes something is helping them, they have it within themselves to repair. They can command their bodies to be repaired simply based on belief. And people think they work. And people have recovered from cancer. People have recovered from back injuries. Quadriplegics have been repaired simply by their own faith. This other realm, because that energy is contained in another dimension, so to speak. That's the containment wall. But when a person draws that energy in, it is the opposite of this realm. In this realm, again, we have to light a piece of wood with a flame to catch it on fire. In that realm, it's already on fire. You have to contain it to see the wood because it's engulfed in flames. It's the opposite of this realm. When a person changes their emotional state, their energy changes, and they begin to draw their energy from this other dimension, this chaotic and violent and uncontainable place where they draw dark matter from, intimately linked. And it's in operation all the time. Now the scientists, they are aware of this. Now here's the other part that's not so comforting. On the spring equinox, forces change on the earth, and they know this. They know that forces do change, which will in fact allow them to have better results. And believe me, it's timed perfectly. It is timed perfectly. With the basic introduction of what Cern is doing and what it is, and the dark matter and matter itself, now we get into the heart of the matter, of what's actually, there will be consequences. It's just that there have been consequences before. Nobody took notice, and the energy signature of dark matter, which, by the way, resides everywhere. But once you bring it into this realm, where we can actually see it and observe it, it attracts things from the other realm. Dark matter is tied to dark matter. Everything has a connection. Everything has a connection. That connection can never be broken by anything. If they bring dark matter into this realm, it's still connected to that realm where the dark matter came from. No matter how far away they put it anywhere, it's still connected, because that realm is everywhere and it's still connected.